There my there's a little butt to clear my camera. Oh, there we go. Oh, what a difference.
Good, we're live everywhere.
Can hear you both. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Helen. Thanks, lovely. It's Rhea and P Do Live. We haven't done it for a couple of weeks, and
Mm.
we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
How you
And
feeling?
I don't need my inhaler anymore, although I may have
Oh, that's good.
become addicted to it. I'm kidding. I haven't used it. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. A lot has happened.
Mm-hmm.
A lot has happened. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing life together today because I feel like I needed it.
Good. All
How
right.
you feeling?
I'm all right. I've been pondering my life and
It's a good
no,
thing.
I'm good today. I mean, the whole last few months has been like a bit of a what am I doing, who am I, why have I got no motivation, blah blah blah, all that stuff. And then I've sort of started coming out of that now. I've regained my focus, my clarity, I've redone my choices, they're amazing. And so that's really given me a bit of an oomph now to start getting back into things. And I'm doing it a very different way. I think I mentioned this before, but I had a rest, right, because I burnt myself out, so I had to stop. And now I'm like easing myself back in, and the aim is don't mess myself up like I did last time, because burnout is useless. You become useless. It's not good for you. So I'm learning to live in a more relaxed way, work in a more relaxed way, create in a more relaxed way. So that's my challenge for my life moving on from here.
Mm.
Um,
But let's
yeah.
see how you really feel after our meditation.
Well, so should we have a meditation?
Let's
There
have
we
a
go. We're
meditation.
gonna have a meditation, everybody.
Meditation. Welcome. We are back doing life
Yeah.
with our vocabulary. I just want to remind you all I am an English teacher. Pinky lives in the UK and has very good English. But somehow when we come together to do life, it just all becomes a big
Forget
hodgepodge
how
of
to
English.
speak, like making up words. I love making up words though, it's
I
so
love
fun.
making up words. We've got a
Um,
few
but yeah,
good
no, we used
ones.
to we used to do meditation, didn't we? Every time when we started, and I think it's really helpful. And it's a bit of a relaxation, a bit of an intention setting meditation, which you guys, whenever you watch this, can join in on. And it's really just to focus your mind and really focus really and release all the noise and really set an intention for we will set an intention for the session that we're doing, but you guys, if you follow along, you can use it to set an intention for your day, for your life, for a certain project, for anything that you want to. So should we get into it? I've already
Let's
got
do
my eyes
this.
closed
I know,
anyway.
me
I'm
too.
like,
I was like, I don't know if you can see me. I guess not because my
no,
eyes
I
are
can't have
closed
my
too.
eyes closed.
Well then.
Good. So if people want to join in, and if you want to close your eyes, as long as it's safe to do so, that would be wonderful. And the first thing we want to do is just get comfortable wherever you are. Uncross your legs, uncross your arms, and just sit back, relax, lie down, whatever it is that wherever you're seated or whatever. Just let everything flop and just do a quick scan, head down, start at the top of your head, and just do a little scan down your body as if there was like a laser beam going down. And it's just scanning for any tension. So around your forehead, your eyebrows, often we really scrunch that part of ourselves up, right? And we don't realize we hold a lot of tension there. So just consciously relax your eyebrows, your forehead, all the little muscles. Just consciously drop it all, let it all relax, and keep moving down your face and the muscles around your eyes. Get really sensitive. Can you just see all the little muscles around your eyes? Can you feel if any of them are sort of holding tight a little bit? Just consciously relax them and continue to move down. Let your tongue relax, loosen your jaw. And the neck and the shoulders. Again, this is somewhere where we hold a lot of tension. So just consciously drop it all, drop all the weight, just let it flop. And as you move down, just go down each arm first of all and let them relax. Let your fingers relax, give them a little wiggle. You might like to just tense your hands and then release. That's a really nice way of releasing tension from any muscles. You can scan your body and do this at times where you just go around your body, tense your face and then relax it, tense your shoulders, then relax it. And you do it all through your body. And as you're moving down, Pay particular attention to your back again, a place where we really carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We don't use these words, or we use these words and don't realize they mean a lot. They tell us what's going on. We're carrying this weight on our backs. So just let that all drop off. And at the base of your spine and your hips, just make sure that they just soften and soften. And then go down your legs. Imagine that laser beam, a warm laser glow light, just a very comfortable, nourishing light going down your legs, loosening all the muscles down into your calves. Just let it all flop. Ankles, feet, toes. Give your toes a little wiggle. Just let it all relax. And just imagine now your whole body is just like jelly, just flopped wherever you are. Just absolutely set an intention to let go of all tension in your body. And now take some deep, slow, conscious breaths. Make sure your breath goes right into the base of your belly. Push your belly out like a balloon. And release. If you want, you can do that through your mouth. Make a bit of a sigh and a noise, and just take another one. Just relax. And now we're going to go on a little journey. So I'd like you to imagine that you're a little child, a little baby, toddler type age, and you're in a garden or a meadow, some kind of open, natural green space. It's very safe here. There may be family nearby, children playing nearby. And you're just running around in this green space, this garden, this meadow. I mean, it's as if you've never been in a place like this before. So you're just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, what is all this new stuff to see? And you're running around, and maybe you're barefoot and you can feel the grass under your feet, the soft, warm grass, or maybe the cool grass. Just imagine that you can imagine that, your little toddler feet. And just imagine the beautiful green grass. Take a really close look in your imagination at this color of this grass. It's so beautiful and bright. And you're just in awe of it. It's like you've never seen this before. And you're looking around this beautiful place and you start to see flowers. What color flowers are you seeing? Red, white, blue, pink, yellow, violet, any color at all. Just imagine flowers. And you're just in awe of these beautiful, bright, vibrant colors. And I'd like you to imagine that you touch a flower, touch one of the petals, and just feel its velvety softness. Is it thin? Is it thick? Just feel it. Imagine feeling that. And maybe you go closer and smell it. Can you smell the fragrance of that flower? Take a deep breath in of that beautiful fragrance. And now just imagine your own little toddler face, your eyes wide, your big grin, and you're just so excited and just in awe of this amazing experience and the tantalizing world and all the colors and the sights and the sounds. And can you hear the birds? Can you hear the wind in the trees just rustling the leaves gently, gently? Maybe there are some other animals that come along, some little bunnies hopping around. Maybe they come and say hello to you, and you give them a little pat on their soft fur. Such a beautiful experience. And I'd like you to imagine as this gorgeous little toddler, you're just going to lie down on the grass, lie down and relax. And it's very warm. It's just a beautiful temperature. Imagine you can feel that warm sun on your skin. What does that feel like? Imagine that you can imagine that right now. And you look up at this lovely blue sky. And as you're lying there, imagine that you become a little bit weightless and start floating up gently and very safely off the ground. Imagine that you're floating. What does it feel like to be weightless and floating like a feather or like a bubble? And as you're floating up, just imagine it's like your body is totally empty, an empty vessel of pure consciousness, and you're gently, safely floating up into the sky, off the ground, and you continue going. And before you know it, you've actually popped out of the atmosphere of the earth and you're very safe. And now you're up in space. And just take a moment as you're floating weightless. Just really imagine what it feels like to be weightless and empty and light and free and boundless. And look down at this beautiful planet. And now I'd like you to just imagine looking around you at this wonderful, huge universe, and you just see stars, galaxies, all colors shimmering, shining all over every direction as far as you can see. And I'd like you to experience how you're connected to all of that. All time, all space, all wisdom, all knowing. You're connected to all of this vastness. There's no separation. And as you float there in space, just gently, beautifully, knowing that you're one with everything that's ever existed, you're going to imagine that in your belly it starts to glow. Your belly starts to glow like a warm golden color or yellow color. And this glow just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you become this wonderful, bright, glowing star. Maybe you're shimmering, maybe you're moving and swirling. Whatever comes to you, go with it. And really embody to the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers this feeling of being light, pure light, a wonderful, glowing star. And as you experience that, you're going to gently and safely start floating back down through the atmosphere of the earth, down, down, down. And as you're going as this beautiful glowing star, you're going to see a circle down on the ground where you're going to land. I'd like you to really solidify that circle in your mind. Just draw around it with your finger. Make it a really powerful circle. And I'd like you to set an intention on that circle. That circle for you may be an intention on the rest of your day, or a piece of work that you've got, or something you want to create in your life. And for us three, it's going to be an intention for this session. And as you go down, you've got this circle, very clear, very strong intention for this session. You're going to land in it or go through it, whatever works for you. And on the other side of that, you're going to receive from the universe your intention. So just take a moment with that and receive it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What is the wisdom? What is the knowing? And I'm just going to go there for a second, and Ree, you do the same, and then we'll share. Can I go?
Go for it.
So, what my intention for this session is to just have real talk like we normally do when we chat on the call or whatever. It's just real talk. It's fun. It's just going with the flow. It's very much just what's going on in life, what's going on, and really allow the moment to unfold, allow the session to unfold, allow it us. But also, there's really an intention of having moments of awakening and awareness and shifting our own consciousness and helping ourselves grow, which is what this is about, is for us to grow and expand every time we have these sessions, to learn something, to shift something. And so I would love, the intention for me is for us to have those moments of like, oh, I got something, I shifted, I've seen something in a way that I didn't see it before. There's moments of awakening, I guess, is how I would describe it. What about you?
My intention is to pretty much do the same. I'm not sure why we have separate intentions. No, but my intention really just is just talk from the heart today, and just kind of raise my frequency and overall frequency by the end of the session, and just get our energy level up to what we usually have it as. But really set the intention to do that today, because I'm feeling like, I came in feeling a bit drained. So I want to I want to focus and set the intention for that to happen by the end of the session.
Hmm. Wonderful. All right. So I hope everybody else has set an intention as well, whatever it was for. If you want to share it, feel free to in the chat. And as you just come back, I just want you to first of all just move your body a little bit, have a little stretch, wiggle your arms, your toes, and all of that business. And gently, gently, just slowly open your eyes and bring your awareness back into the room. Welcome back. And hello, hello, everybody. I
Hello.
hope you enjoyed that. If you went through that with us live or later.
That was awful. Can
Um,
we should do it again.
So why don't we start by asking what's the emotion of the day? So what is your emotion of the day? What emotion comes to you that you're feeling right now of the day?
My emotion is overwhelm today.
Okay.
Overwhelm.
Mm.
A lack of focus
Mhm.
is causing it, but it's definitely overwhelm.
What are you overwhelmed about?
Oh man, everything.
Let's talk about it. I feel like I just want to get into it and talk about it.
Well, as you know, the company I worked for just shut down abruptly
Yeah.
like a week ago, and I'm
Yeah.
still working on putting together what I'm working on. And in the interim, I've signed up for a multitude of courses that I've decided to do. One of them being a really, really exciting one, which is like trauma-based yoga for yoga therapy for children, which I'm so excited about. But at the same time, just like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it's really, I think it's, you know what? This is why we talk about things. It's not overwhelm. It's disappointment. I'm disappointed that I have not, I was so excited about being focused and creating that focus. And then all of a sudden it's like my whole world and everything I knew and the only constant in my life just kind of crashed. And I went, now I got to fix it. And instead of my focus on, going, wow, this is this is, and I'm seeing it as a blessing in disguise, but it was just like, continue to do your choices. And regardless of what's happening, continue to do the things that you're supposed to be doing to create that focus and that reality. Right. And then do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I should have done it. I should do it. I should be doing it every day. And I'm like, but I haven't done it. And the more I'm watching everything that I'm watching, like right now I'm doing this Bob Proctor course as well. And it talks about the exact same thing. Write down what you love. That's what he talks about. He goes, write down what you love on a piece of paper and watch yourself create it, which is what we've learned through William, which is, focus creates your reality, which is what Chris Duncan is talking about, which is what everybody's talking about right now. And the good news is that I'm realizing that I'm not focused on the news. And honestly, my interest in the happenings, which don't take this the wrong way, anyone, like it's ridiculous what's happening out there. Like it's absolutely like I look at it and I'm like, this is absurd. This is the world we live in. Like I think I've said that about 74 times in the last 4 days. Like this is the world we live in now. This is the world we have created. We've created it.
Yeah, it's quite hard, right? You're like,
I'm like, does anyone else? Are you like seeing this picture of what the fuck we've created?
I know. It's hard.
And everyone's like, oh, we've got to do this and we've got to do this and this. And I go, why don't you just focus on you, right? And so in a way I have been, and I've kind of been bringing it back, but I'm not using the tools, which is kind of causing the disappointment and the overwhelm of it's there and you're doing all the work. And I'm hearing people go, write it down. What's your focus? What do you want to create? And so clearly I have my vision of this is what I want. I've lost my job and now I want to teach kids, and I want to teach kids about meditation and mindfulness and breathing and focus on the trauma. Like the course came to me in my hands. Like it was literally handed to me and it was like, here, you've got to, like, you want to fix society. Start with the kids, right? That's what we always say. It's like, stop taking like the life out of children because by putting them to school and stuff. That's what we're doing. We're literally eliminating that. But it's like, here's a course, and here's your tools, and here's what you need to do. The word was trauma. You want to fix the trauma that we end up in our 30s, 40s, 50s after living it for 50 years and practicing it. And it's like, here's a tool. Go help kids figure out how to do it from the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when it's created, when it's just so, when it's being pushed away and it's being shoved, and we're finding reasons to kind of cover it up. And then I'm like, oh, but I haven't used any of the tools. And I'm just seeing more and more, like every day I'm just like, this is the world. Like, what, like, oh my God, like what the fuck world do we live in right now? Like, no, is no one else seeing it?
Yeah, do you know what? I would really like to probe that a bit for both of us, because I have a similar challenge where I look at the world and I'm like, fucking hell. And I get really drawn into it. But then, like you, I'm like, I can't control all that. So I'm trying to pull away and focus on myself. But then I get drawn back in. And then I get so many different emotions. I'm like, oh, but it's needed to help us grow. But then I'm like, no, we're just so messed up. And then I'm like, screw you humans, you know, like whatever. And and I know none of that's functional or healthy, and I haven't worked out a way to progress with that, because it is hard to look at the world and be like, what are we doing? And the thing is, it's not like it's the first time we've done this. When you look at history, we've been at this for thousands of years, fighting and wars and silliness and manipulation of mind and loss of connection to our soul and who we are, and no love and all that. Like, it's been going for thousands of years. And I'm like, do we want to stop that now? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? But how? And then I'm like, I need to fix the world, but I can't fix the world. And I think it might be helpful if we just look at that, like, just for us, but maybe it will help other people. Because one thing I do want to do, and let me know if this resonates with you, is look at it from the ego and then look at it from the soul. Because I think our soul will have a different view on what's going on, whereas our ego, and I know my ego is like, but I feel like there must be a more advanced, profound understanding, knowing, wisdom about, and more empowering way to see what is going on in the world. And I wonder if you want to just do a quick little circles, and we could see, what do you get if you go into that.
I just want to say, though, I think my view, though, is a bit different. And I did have the ego view, and I want to go in to see it because it'd be interesting to see the shift. But I'm so detached from it now. Like, I'm finding myself, like, people are like, oh, this, and I'm like, it sounds awful. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care, not because I'm selfish and I want to continue doing what I'm doing, but because that's not my frequency. I'm not there. I don't
You don't resonate.
work at that. I don't resonate with that level. Like, it's happening. It's going to happen. It's happened throughout history. It's going to continue to happen. People are going to keep giving into it. The fear, the media, it's going to keep, it's a fucking control mechanism. The media can, like, you know, like, as long as we have TV and media and now social media and other more, everything is freaking media. And so we have that control is going to exist and get stronger because it is the one, my cousin and I were talking about this, and it's the most powerful fucking control agent in the world we live in.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I don't care because it's happening and it sucks. We've created it. Now what? What can I do to change the frequency for me, for people around me, for, you know, giving into that just creates the vibration of that, right? So, and that's it. More and more people are falling into the everyday, look at what's happening with Afghanistan, and and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. But it's like you said, you know, these protests and all of that, they create more, like, I'm just literally seeing our world being like, I almost see like an image of the earth. Like, if you would take a heart and pull it apart, and like the veins on the inside are just hanging, like it's a gruesome image. It really
I was going
is.
to say, I didn't like that, but thanks.
It's a really gruesome image of just blood dripping, right? Because if the earth is a heart, which it is, and you literally pulled it apart, is what's happening. We're just pulling it apart into pieces. Oh my God, I want someone. Can you draw that out? There you go. There's an illustration for you. Just the earth, just bits and pieces, because it's what we're doing. We're not coming together. We're not healing. There's no Band-Aid on it. Instead, we're like, let's separate. So I'm like, cool, I'm still going to be in this end of the separation.
Yeah.
And here's me.
Yeah.
And like, let's focus in and let's focus in and let's zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And there's me, you know?
Mm,
And it's like
mm,
you zoom out and you're like,
mm,
you zoom in
mm,
and you're like, oh, I'm
mm,
holding a flower and I've had the best weekend and then things are great and I'm creating my reality without
mm,
using the tools, but I'm still doing it to imagine if I
mm,
was. But yes,
mm,
I do. I do want to look at it because I'm almost ignoring it, if that
mm.
makes sense. Because I'm like,
No, it does. Because when you said earlier, I don't care, what comes up for me is that an egoic I don't care or a soul based don't focus? Do you know what I mean? There's that subtle difference. Is it the ego
yeah,
is like, it's too much for me, I'm just going to brush it aside, which isn't really transcending it. And so that I know, like for me, I'm similar. Sometimes like, oh, whatever, you can't focus on, you can't control it. But have I really transcended that in my own energy? Have I really come to that knowing? Because if you're just kidding yourself, the energy of it's still there, right? So yeah, no, I'd love to do that. Should we do some circles? So we'll do like an
that's it.
ego and a soul circle. So can I go first?
Go first.
I'm like, I need help, help me, help me now. I've been waiting for weeks for someone to help me with this thing because it's like a big problem. So Ree's gonna help me, man. Okay, so let's set that intention, and it's like all the crap going on in the world. And the state of the world today. So that's really the overarching theme. So I'm going to step into my egoic circle then. So my ego, my identity, my beliefs, my limitation, my humanness, my limitation, all that little thing of who I think I am. And so let me step into that. So here's the world and all the stuff going on. So I'm just going to ramble what's obvious to me about the way I'm looking at the world and all the problems in it from that perspective. I'm really angry. It makes me really angry. And anger is a sign of powerlessness. And so it makes me angry because I feel powerless, because I can't fix it. I can't change it. And I can't get through to people. And I don't understand why people don't see the world in the same way that I see the world. Like, how can you possibly think that killing people is going to help anybody? I don't understand that. And that makes me more frustrated and more powerless. And it's like I feel like I need to tell these people and get them to understand that this doesn't work. We've got to stop doing it. And that makes just gets me in a cycle, right, of anger and frustration and powerless, and it doesn't work. And then I really one of the things I know I do as well in my ego is I catastrophize. So there are many beautiful things still going on in the world. Life is happening. The earth is spinning. Nature is happening. Like, there are babies being born. There are little elephants running around right now. Like, there's loads of beautiful things happening. But in my ego state, I look at the problems and all I can see is the problems and I catastrophize. And to me, I'm seeing the burning of the whole world. Like, I can't see anything good in there. And like we were saying earlier, it's because that's always shown as well on the media, right? It's just constant negativity. They don't tell us about anything nice, and that's what we hear. And I'm not making the choice in my ego because these big flames are so huge and hot, and I'm like, I can't not look at them. And so for me, I catastrophize as well. I only see the negative. I only see the problems. I just see the world burning. And then it leads me to a point of like, I get really resentful of humans. I'm like, screw you, humans. You're so low consciousness. I get arrogant and I get, silly about, oh well, you're all dumb, so you deserve it now. Like, whatever. Like, we're all gonna burn and it's our own fault. And it's really, really quite morbid. But I get to that point where I'm just like, well, whatever. And then I just think, why am I on this planet? Why did I come here? This is like hell. Why would anyone be here? This is not life. Like, it's hard and I don't enjoy it. And humans, when I see what they create in this way, I really don't like them. I don't like them, and I just want to like not be around them, and I just want to not be here. I don't want to live a world like this. I don't like it. Not saying that I'm like suicidal or anything, but to some people it can get them to that, right? But anyway, this is about me. And in my ego, I just resign myself to hopelessness. I don't want to be here. And then it's more of a sadness as well, right? I just all my energy is gone. I'm useless. I'm drained. And I'm just like a useless blob. And so that's what happens when my ego looks at all the stuff in the world. So I feel like I want to jump straight into soul because I've really got the energy of this now, and I want to go to the contrast. and lift it. Can I do that? Is that all right?
Go ahead.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to scrub that out now, and I'm going to say Pinky Soul, the view of all the carnage in the world. And what's obvious to me about my view from that perspective is I'm very much more um, an observer, a non. What's the word when you're not like in it? You're not on any side. You're like a
A
middle
moder
ground type.
um,
Yeah.
like a
What's this
moderator.
word?
Oh, what's the word? My God, people
It's
use it. People use it in
it's
divorces all the time. Keep going. Keep talking.
I don't
I'll
know.
come
It's
up with
that
it.
thing of I'm neither. I'm not in it basically, and I'm not on a
Mm.
side, and I'm not fighting a side, and I'm not judging it in that. I'm just observing. In my soul, I'm able to take really a higher picture. And actually, when I look at the earth from my soul, I don't see any flames. Actually, that's very interesting. I don't see any flames. I don't see anything burning. I just see an earth spinning. I see the clouds. I see the colors in the ocean, and I just see the earth moving, and I just see it is what it is. Like there's no attachment to it, there's no analysis of it, there's no creating stories out of it, there's no creating meaning out of it. It's just here's a planet, it's a rock, it's spinning in space, and it looks as it looks. And I'm really just a observer. And in my soul circle, when I look at the world and what goes on, it's more a case of it because I'm very philosophical, and so it's more that it's fuel for my own expansion, my own philosophy, my own learning, my own growth, my own pondering, which I love to do. I love to ponder life, but I'm doing it from a much more philosophical place. And it helps me grow, and it helps me think and dream and imagine, and just understand more about humans and earth and what is this life. And actually I'm a lot more inquiring and compassionate. I don't hate anyone when I'm in this place. Even the people doing really bad stuff, I'd see them. I just see the behavior, but I don't make it personal. I don't be like, oh, you're bad, you're this. I'm just like, so this is a thing that a human does, and this is something that else that a human does, and I just see it from a very much a behavioral point of view. It's just humans. It's not personal. It's like we're little bots, and we're just programmed, and we're doing things, and we get in these states. And but I see it in a much more. I'm more of amusing. I'm not amusing. I'm mused. I'm musing. I am musing. What the hell? You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not amused, but I am musing about it. I'm just like musing, like, what is this funny thing called Earth, and this funny thing that we all do? And actually I can even find comedy in some of it, because I'm like, come on, people, because I also know at that point from my soul that we are infinite beings, we are spirit, we are eternal. And so this body that we put on, this identity that we create, this human identity, it's just a little thing that we do for a while we're here. It's not true. It's just an aspect of the physical experience, but it's not who we truly are. So I can see it for what it is in that respect. And so I don't take it so personally. I could actually laugh about it, because I'm like, God, look at us, man. It's like, what are we doing? Um, but there's definitely no hatred. I'm much more relaxed. I don't need to fix it. It's not for me to fix. It's for me to observe. It's for me to observe, to learn, to cultivate knowing in myself, to share ideas with other people, but from a much more calm, compassionate, loving space. No judgment, just observation. No stories, just truthfully what it is. And it's a very different energy. And I think I just need to sit for a moment with this realization that it's not for me to fix. There is nothing to fix. It's not broken. Nothing is broken. None of us are broken. We're just playing around doing what humans do, but it's not about broken or fixing. It's about observing and learning and growing. And yeah, I think that's from my soul. That's what I see. And I just want to go full circle back round, is that from my soul, the earth is fine, the earth is spinning, the universe is so powerful, and so everything's fine. Everything, we can create so much carnage, yet we forget that we are part of a divine intelligence that governs all, that is so much more powerful than us. And so Earth is fine. Earth will be fine. Everything's fine. And it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. So that's where I'm at. So let me come out of that. Yeah.
Okay. Did you want me to share?
Yeah, please do. Please do. Do you know I totally forgot to ask you to do yours on that to
No,
do.
no, no.
Are you
No,
gonna
I
do
meant,
me?
yeah.
Yeah, please. Yeah, yeah.
So what was obvious to me in your ego circle is first I was getting a lot of fear, but as we went into your soul, it
Mm,
became more clear that it wasn't just fear. It was again, it just came back to control, and
mm,
it was a combination of the fear coming from a lack of control, right? Because if I don't have control, it's the unknown. What's going to happen? See, it's going to blow up. Are we going to get bombed? Are we going to, are more people going to die? Is there going to be fires? Are there going to be volcanoes erupting? I can't control it. I don't know what's happening. People are going out of control, and everyone's mad. And I live in a mad society, and now I'm getting angry because I can't control it because I don't know what's happening.
mm.
Because all these people in power, and like, look at all these people, and they're coming in control, and they're telling me what to do, and they're controlling, like they're changing my life, and my life is going to be dependent on it. And next thing you know, I'm going to be running off of here, trying to hide some other place, and there's going to be war and World War IV, and then we're going to explode. And there's just like this panic and this fear because of lack of control in the
Yeah.
ego. And what's obvious to me in your soul circle is that there's almost this detachment, and you're looking at it from a higher perspective, because you see there's levels of people. There's levels of people that are, consciously, a more consciously operative, I guess, in a way that, kind of that you are, and maybe not at your level. And there's people that are higher than you, that are vibrating higher than you, but you're up there and you're seeing it, and you're seeing that we're all connected, and we're all through this, we're all on the same planet together. And eventually when their time comes, they'll come up there, right? But you're able to see the world with more clarity because you've basically lifted above the smoke. The smoke hasn't settled. The dust hasn't settled. You're not waiting for the dust to settle. You've just kind of elevated higher than that. And what's obvious to me about your soul, and the state of the earth, is that, again, there is this musing happening, right? Because you're like, wow, what a joke. Like, once people realize what we're capable of, this whole nonsense is going to stop. But you're creating this magnetism of, like, I'm up here, and whoever wants to vibe with me up here. And that's what you're doing. You're healing from this higher level. You're creating that bubble, that heart, that energy of kindness, of truth, of no fear, no control, and no attachment. There's no attachment, because it's almost like this attachment in the ego circle too. That's like, well, I have to do something. And it's like, up here, there's no, I need to do something. I have to do something. It just happens. You're doing it. You're being it. You are it. You are that truth, that purity. And so the people that are learning to vibrate higher, that are learning to kind of come up, they go, oh yeah, hey, there's more like me up here. And it is that, for me, it's very clear that there's a connection, but there's also this disconnect and detachment, because there's just people that are living in their egos versus people that are actually moving up to their own soul circles. And then you start connecting with the soul circles of people, and you also see their soul circles in their ego, and you're going, all right, they'll change. That's not really them. It's them, because they're still blind. These people are still wearing blindfolds, and you're so clearly, you're privy to that information. You see them. When you see these people, you see blindfolds on. You see that there's no clarity. And that's why there's no judgment for these bad people doing what you call bad actions. There's no anger to them, because it's like, I see it, and, I sympathize almost, but like, I understand, because you'll get there, and I can't get you there. You'll get there on your own. And so I'm not responsible for trying to move you up here. I don't control you. You control you. And right now you're brainwashed, and you're under the spell. You're in this illusion, and like, literally, you are sleepwalking, which is what it looks like from up there. It looks like this whole army of people on the planet that are just bound and run by fear, that their eyes are shut, right? Even the ones that are in control and power, it's all fear. It's all fear.
Yeah.
And you've risen above that, and you see it so clearly. And that's why there's no like you said, you're neutral. You see
Mm.
both sides, and you are so neutral. And I'm still thinking of that word, that perfect word, that's not a moderator, but it's that
I
person that,
think you got it. Neutral. It's
mm,
neutral.
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're there, and you're like, I see both sides, and
Yeah.
but I see it. You're not like, the blindfold is off, and in your ego circle, it's like you're peeking through the blindfold, but then it's back on. It's all it's like craziness. And then it's anger, and you close your eyes, and then you're like, but I see you. Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
literally my
pretty much.
life.
Uh, and
That's literally me all day, every day.
then up there, you're like, but
Oh, I love it.
it is what it is. It
It
literally,
is.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I
And
love it.
yeah.
Oh, that's so powerful. Thank you. So much of that resonates with me. The control thing, that's what it is. It's like I don't like not having control, and that's a big issue. But I loved so much of what you said, and some of the key things that came out as well was where you said, we got to put this in our quote catalog. Where I've lifted above the smoke, even though the dust hasn't settled. So I don't have to wait for the dust to settle. I just rise above it. And that is the really, really powerful thing, that hit me there. It's like, oh,
Mm,
that's it. Because at the moment, I'm in the smoke, I'm in the fire, in my ego, and I'm waiting, and I'm trying to settle it. I'm trying to get it down and fix it. I've got to fit. No, 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 no. That's not what power is. You're not. Power is not in this 3D dimension. It's rising above it. That's
mm,
where you get your true power, your true insight, your true wisdom, your true knowledge, your true knowing, and your true peace. And that's exactly what the Soul Circle does. So I love that. That's been really, really helpful. Thank you.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I like it. Thanks,
Oh, I
darling.
think I like it. Okay, my turn.
Your turn.
My turn.
Okay. All right. So let's scrub out everything to do with me. And now it's Rita. So, Rita, the stuff, the craziness in the world, and the crazy humans doing crazy things.
I'm
So,
angry. I'm so angry. I'm
I
so
also was
angry.
about to be like, so just draw a circle. Like, I'm angry. All
I'm
right,
there.
let's
I'm in the
go.
circle. I'm there. I'm in my ego circle, and I'm angry. Like, I am so angered by it. I'm so angry in my ego circle of everything that's happening, because it's like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? What are you doing? Like, are you wasting your life and my life with all this nonsense? And every time I watch the news, it's like, another thing, another one. Like, what? Like, are you literally like are you some sort of like are you missing a part of your brain? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm really angry because, like, it doesn't make any logical sense to me, and I'm trying to make sense of everything in my ego circle. It's like, it doesn't make sense, and I'm just here trying to make sense of it. And a huge part of that, when I was actually listening to you and just being there, was it made me realize that, holy shit, there's just a reflection in what you're saying about me, which I didn't think of before, which was fear. It's fear. It's so much fear in my ego circle, which exactly is causing me to go, well, if I don't see it, then it doesn't exist. Instead of rising above it, it's like shutting it out.
Mm-hmm.
There definitely is a part of that, right? It's like, okay, oh, I'm angry at this person, but you know what? I'm just, they don't exist. They're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
They're, goodbye. Like, goodbye. Like, I don't like you. Bye. Like, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Like, just like the other Pinky would say, oh, goodbye.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you don't exist, then you can't affect me. Because if you don't exist, then you can't affect me. Instead of, I see you, you exist, but despite that, you don't affect me. Right? Because you have to work just like our ego. We have to work despite other
Yep.
people too, and despite that. And so in my ego circle, it's that fear, and it's that, no, get away. Like, you don't exist, so you can't upset me because you can't control me, because I'm
Yeah.
telling you what's up, and na boo boo, and I can't hear you. And literally, it's childishness. Oh my god, it's childish. It's this childishness. It's a child mentality of literally being like exactly what everyone else is doing. And in my ego, it's just like, yep, no, it doesn't exist, so I'm okay, and I'm better than you, and I'm better off. And that's what it is. And
Mm.
literally, I'm just going to jump right over, because I've had the moments in my soul circle where it's like, I see you, I acknowledge you,
Mm.
I acknowledge what's happening. And I want to say it's a little bit of a sadness, but it really isn't. It's just an acknowledgement of what is. Like, this is it. This is what is happening.
Mhm.
And I choose to function despite that instead of getting lost in that.
Mm.
I see it and it's there.
Mhm.
Just like, it's there. It's part of my ego. It's there. But I'm now going to choose to vibrate higher, because I don't want to feel like that, because even just getting lost in that anger, that sadness for a moment. So in my soul circle, that none of that exists. There's no emotion attached to it. There really isn't. There is absolutely no emotion. Not a good one, not a bad one. There is no emotion. There's no feeling. There's no attachment. And in my higher soul circle, I see my purpose more clearly because of it. It's like, what am
Mm.
I supposed to do? That's what I'm seeing more and more. And that's what I'm becoming aware of in my soul circle. It's just that obvious awareness of, but look at, like, I just see myself in that golden ball of light going, what can you do? What's your
Mm.
role in all of this? Because we all play a part. It's all big. It's all connected. And like, it's like, what's my role? And I see my role in it all so clearly. And
What do you see?
it's changing history, right? Without controlling. It's creating the options, because one side, on the ego side, I just see it. It's just like war and fight and chaos. And, literally my ego circle is just like on fire, and it's just chaotic, right? And it's
Mm.
like, oh, okay, run away, run away. It's that runaway mentality. Run
Mhm.
away. And in my soul circle, it's, no, here's a bubble. Here's what
Mm.
I create. Here's my heart. Here's what I want. Here's who I want to educate and teach and share my vibrations and frequency with, to come into this place. And then
Mm.
when you're in that place, more and more and more and more and more people will vibrate from that place, and more that vibration will get larger,
Mm.
and all of it like will eventually vibrate on that level. And it's great, because there's such a it's so much more powerful in that soul circle too, because I'm feeling the frequencies and the energies of people that are, you know and this is going to sound awful, but because of COVID, and because of the lockdown, and because of these situations that the universe put us through, right? And
Mm.
people and their consciousness with the universe and whatever created. But it's actually helped lift so many people higher. And yes, it's sad that the people who vibrate lower, and the people, who just aren't at that level, it sucks. It sucks, because it's been more difficult for a lot of
Mm.
people that don't know how to come out of that ego state of being. But
Mm.
if you have been able to break through, and if you're vibrating higher, which I certainly feel like I have, and I'm feeling that oneness, it's like, of that, creating that frequency of like, I'm talking about something here, and I
Mm.
know it's happening here, and I know it's happening here, and that momentum is just getting stronger.
Mm.
And it's that magnetism of like being part of that energy in my soul
Mm.
circle. That energy is so strong
Mhm.
that everything else is happening, and it's happening, but it doesn't affect my energy.
Mm.
And I'm not angry at it, because it's gonna happen.
Mm.
We are still different beings, and it's that, just recognizing the soul and the other people, and seeing it and going, I see your soul, I see your ego, I
Mm.
really do,
Mm.
and I'm not going to do anything about it. When you're ready, I'm here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not turning away from it. It's watching the news and just going, right, just keep your frequency up here. Don't get drawn into that lower frequency.
Mhm.
Don't get drawn into a lower vibe. And yeah, it's
Mm.
just, you know what? I'm feeling more and more empowered now that like I watch the news and I again, I smirked at something. Like someone was telling me about like, oh, this happened, and I went, wow, like it's so petty. That's the word.
Mm.
It's so petty in this ginormous universe and system
Mm.
and vibration that we exist in.
Mhm.
And it's like, really? Like you realize like your body is going to die one day and this is what you're focused on? Okay, cool. You know, that's fine. I'm not mad. I
Yeah.
understand. I get
Yeah.
you. I love you. I'm here though. So, I can hear you talk about it all day, but I'm not going to be like, yeah, I agree. It's like, cool. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I respect your thoughts. And now I'm going to go back up,
Mm.
And that's
Mhm.
where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Yeah. I'm going
Yeah.
to come out and that's what it is.
I love
And
it.
that's what I'm feeling a lot more.
Really wonderful. Really
Mm.
wonderful. I okay, shall I jump in?
Mm.
Okay. So Rita's ego when it comes to the craziness of the world. Um, yeah, I sense that the craziness of the world triggers if you focus on it when you're in your ego, it triggers the franticness out there. It's like it goes into you so easily and it creates franticness within you as well. And it's almost like that's what frustrates you as well because you're like, go away, world. Why are you giving me more shit to deal with? Why are you giving me more frustration and franticness and things to worry about and look at? And it's almost like you're angry about that as well. You're like, God, like things, I've got enough. I've got my own stuff to deal with. And now all this is coming from the world as well. And so there's almost like a frustration with that and an angriness with that, and then there's the overwhelm as well, which is the word you used when we started the session as well. There's an overwhelm of everything. It becomes very overwhelming because it just feels so huge, like all the stuff going on in the world just feels so big and just like this big behemoth thing, and it makes you feel really small. It makes you feel like you're just a small piece of this, a small person, and that also makes you feel kind of, you know, it's sort of despondent almost. It takes your fire away, it takes your energy away. It just makes you feel like tired and exhausted as well because it's just like there's all this stuff going on and it's huge and it's like, well, what can I do about it? And then that's exactly it. It leads you to shrug your shoulders and go, oh well, I'll just ignore it then. I'll just ignore it because I can't do anything about it because look how huge it is, look how massive it is, look how complex it is. And so yeah, you just sort of turn away. But yeah, it's absolutely the energy from the ego is absolutely an energy of avoidance, because you feel like you can't do anything about it and it's too big and like you say, it's not high vibe and it's not what you want to feel and experience. So it's just like, well, I'm just going to turn my back and walk away. But essentially, then what you're doing is you turn your back on the world, you turn your back on life, you turn your back on humanity, you turn your back on people, you turn your back on all of that because it's not just one element. You can't, you might try and pick a few elements that you want to keep in, but really, it is what it is. And in the ego, when you turn your back, you really separate yourself from what it is to be alive on this planet, because it's too overwhelming and it becomes too difficult. So that's what I get in the ego. And I'm going to go into your soul circle. So in your soul circle, you're so good at making everything hilarious. Like you're really good at making everything more lighthearted. Not that you don't understand that obviously there's pain. It's not making a mockery of people's pain, which is very real. There's really difficult things going on, but you have an ability to bring people's lightheartedness back into the world. It's like you say, you see it, but there's something about your energy in your soul circle that is, it's, oh, what is it? It's like this mix of nurturing, mothering, caring, but also like comedy and like a little bit of like just freedom and knowing that this is all some kind of cosmic joke at the same time. Like you have this blend of all those energies where you're able to really draw people back into the lighter energy so easily because that's your natural state when you're in your soul. And that's really like it's like you can create your own little world. Like you say, you can see the rest of it, but you can create your own little world, and you do create like a really nice sanctuary for people to come into, away from the crazy world where all the horrible stuff is going on. You create a really nice safe space, but it's not just like a safe space because I don't want to be hurt. It is safe for people who are in pain and struggling and questioning and everything, and and troubled by what's going on. But it's not like weak safe. It's a really powerful safe, and it's also it's just a place where people raise their vibe, right? It's a people where people can have laugh. That people can laugh again with you when you're on your soul self. People can laugh, like, and that's such a great skill that you have when you keep in your high vibe, because like you say, so many people get really dragged down into it, and it's really hard to come out of it, and everything is but you're able, when you stay there, you can make people laugh again, you can make people smile again, you make people be in joy again, and in lightness, and in freedom, and in fun and playfulness and childlike nature. Like, you're able to create in your soul circle a really wonderful space, and it's almost like that that's your purpose. That your purpose is to create this wonderful, light, beautiful, energetic space where people can come in, the right people, whoever comes and knocks on the door. If they've come to knock on the door, they're meant to be with you, and so you open the door and you let them in, and then when they come in, it's just like a whole nother world, and it's your energy that radiates, that creates this new world, this new space and consciousness that is a totally different frequency to what is going on out there that people are also in. But you realize you don't have to fix that, you don't have to do anything about that, because essentially you're here to create a new space, you're here to create an entirely separate space of consciousness, of reality. You create a totally different reality for people by being in your soul, being in your power, being in your true nature and purpose, which is your love, your vibrancy, your comedy, your lightness of energy that is so natural to you. When you just live in that and live in that and create that and be that and be that, you, like, it just vibrates out and it shifts the energy, and it's like you've created a whole bubble around you, and this whole space is high vibe, and it's very beautiful. And then that's where people who are suffering or just realize they don't want to be in the rest of it can come in and spend time, and it just totally shifts them. And you're very aware of that is what you are meant to do. So
Thanks. That was great.
I like it.
I've been getting these vibes lately of just like healing, like just this like healing. But it's funny because I always heal through comedy, right? So yeah, there's definitely a bit of that.
Very healing. Yeah.
It is healing, right? Like, what do we go to when we're having a stressful day? We're like, I just want to go home and watch some like comedy or like
Yeah.
funny movie or
Yeah. I saw a quote about this. I can't remember, but I'm going to try and find it and I'll send it you later. But it was exactly that. It was like, those who can make people laugh are really powerful healers. It wasn't exactly those words, but it was that essence of like, don't underestimate. That's such a gift. I've just looked at the comments because I had you on full screen. So let's have a look. So Auntie's here. Hello. Good morning.
She actually just messaged me. She said she's gone. She couldn't get
Oh,
back
she
on.
gone now. Sorry, that was quite a while ago as well. Apologies. That was like 40 minutes ago. Vishal. Hello, Vishal. As Buddha says, the mind is everything you think you become. Free your mind. Yes, free your mind indeed. I think that is our challenge. Oh, Auntie came up with a word as well. Impartial. That's it. That is it as well. It's that neutral. It's impartial. I like that. That's it.
Yep.
It's impartial. That was it. That is exactly it. Thank you. Even though she's not here anymore. She's having a problem joining. She's going to watch later. Okie dokie. All good. So I really like that. I just wanted to have a second to just look at mine again, because I think I'm going to have to look at it a few times. Because, as soon as we go back into the world and, and even if you're not watching the news, right, you'll see something, you'll scroll here or someone will say something and it comes up again. You can't avoid it, right? You can't avoid it. But I think it's important to just continually reflect on the truth that we've uncovered, which is, how your ego is responding and how your soul would respond or is responding. And both of those always exist at all times. It's just a question of which one are you embodying, which one are you in, because everything exists all at once. So it's not a case of I've got to get rid of that and then I've got to climb up there and then I've got to create that. It's all there. It's
Mm.
just which point of attention and which dimension are you standing in with your own mind and your own consciousness at any given time. And so it's that realization that just to read through, the soul one, it's like that's right there for you right now. It's just a choice. It's an intention. It's a focus. And that's when I look at myself, the ego is very tantalizing, right? All those feelings of like, it's like they suck you in, they're addictive, and you're like, and even though you're hating it and it's not good for you, you're like, come on, more anger, more, more fire, more burn. It's like, what the fuck? Am I like some kind of devil? But they say the ego is the devil. They say the ego is the devil, and soul is the God consciousness, and we all have both within us, right? But that's the question, is like, you just have to choose. You just have to choose. And as soon as you catch yourself going into it, flip into the soul circle, go stand in it, remind yourself what's true there and see what new things come through. And that's what alchemy is, right? Use the higher against the lower. That's what
Mm.
being a magician is. That's what alchemy is. And it sounds so simple, but it's really the practice, I guess, of doing it frequently and
I
not
think
letting. Mm,
I think a lot of it too is I was just looking up a comment that I posted on somebody's like artwork on this guy does really great like just storytelling images,
yeah.
and like this I'll just kind of break down what it was, and it was just it said, we can never experience the real world. It's such a subjective interpretation of what our brain understands. It's like, I'm just reading it out, it's like we're living in a fake world. This guy I just wanted to say who he is because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm copying stuff. His Instagram name is Pascal Campion Art, and he just does these amazing stories.
Mm.
It's like we are living in a fake world, and he has this cat, and the cat goes, like a simulation, and he's like, ha ha ha, kitty cat, are we living in a simulation? And of course, not manly man. She calls him not manly man. And then this cat goes into a glitch as he's talking to the cat. And he's like, the cat goes, of course not. And that's how it ends. Right? So it's like, the man's like, are we living in a glitch? And then the cat's like, of course we are. Right?
Yeah.
And then the cat glitches and goes, of course not.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. So obviously it just goes to show that someone's controlling it, right?
Yeah. It's like Matrix, man.
It's like, right? And I wrote a comment on it because I was like, oh my God. And that's what it is. We are living in this illusion that we create, and we're calling it illusion. And then within that illusion, we're like trying to be awake, but then trying to create like a reality, but the reality is an illusion. And I'm like, oh my God, we're living in an illusionary reality, which in itself is an oxymoron. We're living in a freaking oxymoron. And literally I went and that's what came up, right? And I was like, yeah, we're living in an oxymoron, because until you realize, and there's no way to make someone realize, is what I've learned. There's no way to make someone realize that there's more, right? And if you're like a lot of people I know, and it's just also really dear in my life, it's just like, no, this is it. We have to work, and we have to do it, and we have to survive, and that's the goal, and that's what life is about, and that's what we do. And it's like, okay, but there's more. When you're going to see that there's so much more, and you can do anything you really want, you just have to just assume that it can be done, right? Don't even trust that. What's what we learned. Just assume and do and focus. And I don't know. That's what you just said of the whole. It's that illusion of when you recognize that it's the illusion, and it's always going to be there, and then it's creating or realizing what the reality of it is, and kind of coming out of it and being able to separate yourself from it to even start functioning and vibrating at the higher consciousness. Because until you do, you're not gonna.
And it's literally like the Matrix, right? Because you got to wake up from the Matrix to realize that you're in a Matrix, and he can't wake people up in the Matrix. When Neo's woken up and he goes in, he can't go around waking people. I mean, they do try and wake people up, obviously, but then some people go back in, right? Like what's the guy, Cypher, I think the character's name is. He goes back in, And it is that, and like you were saying that earlier as well, and we both come on a very similar theme for both of us, is that we can't control other people's awakening journeys. We can't control other people's behaviors, and realizing that then puts you back in your power. And like you're talking about this fact that it's an illusion, when you look at it from what we understand of like everything being consciousness and energy, and a quantum field of infinite possibility, like I say, it's all just there. You're creating this, you're creating it, and you're perceiving it, and you're like seeing, you think you're seeing something here, but you're interpreting different frequencies, but it all exists. So it's just about learning to say, well, right now I'm looking at that and I'm creating this experience. Now I'm going to look over there, or I'm going to create something else, and now I'm looking at these frequencies and these, like it's a that's what it is,
Mm.
which is weird, but
Yeah, I'm just going to share an example from something I heard. And it was just something somebody brought up in one of the courses. And I don't want to, repeat exactly what it was, but it was around the lines of, wow, like, how can I be sitting at this end of the world
yeah,
and then, doing a reading or, doing a circle or whatever with someone at the other end of the world, and we come up with the same thing,
yeah,
right? And it was a great question because it made me think and realize from the work we've been doing is focus on what you just said, right? You create something over here, you shift your focus, you create something over here. It's like, I'm not just going to sit here and assume that I'm like making something up for a random person at the other end of the world if I'm not focused on them. If I
yeah,
stop and focus on that person or a country, I'm going to start, again, intuitively asking for symbols, getting things, feeling things, because we know it's
yeah.
there,
Yeah, and there is
right?
no time and space, which is why you can read someone who you've never met, who's on the other side of the world, because that's got nothing to do with it,
And
because
it's
there's
those
no time and space. It's just energy and just
4
points
billion
of
bits of
focus.
information that
Exactly.
exist. They
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah.
but
We just got to
until
tune in.
you focus on it, they're
Yeah.
just there. It's just
Yeah.
like, well,
Yeah.
here's, I don't know, whatever. Just it's like anything. It's like, here's a
Uh,
bunch
th-
of something,
Yeah.
but until you do something with it, like,
Yeah.
it's just there, right? Here's
Yeah.
some colors in paper, right?
Yeah.
Until you actually put the color on the paper, you're not even gonna know what
Yeah.
the color looks like.
Yeah.
It's just, it exists, but you
Yeah.
have to
But you've
focus
got
on
it.
it. You've
Yeah.
got to do something with it, right?
And it's the same like earlier with the ego focus about the world, is there's 4 billion bits of information, and I'm just seeing this tiny little portion which says the world is burning, everything is bad, screw human beings. So I'm choosing to focus on that, albeit a very unconscious choice, until I become more and more aware. It's not unconscious because, yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's still not, I still don't have control over it, or I haven't shifted it fully, but it's that's it. I'm choosing to focus on that little bit, so that becomes my reality, and that's what I'm immersed in. And so shifting focus to a higher perspective, because also, if it's infinite possibility, which I believe the universe is, and everything already exists, then these perspectives we've come up from our soul, they're not just things to make us feel nice, they're realities. This reality where you're creating this bubble of wonderful, beautiful energy that people can come into to heal and to shine and have fun and laughter. That's not just something we go, oh, well, that's much nicer, isn't it? No, no, no. What you did there is you saw an alternate reality, a possibility that already exists in the quantum field. You connected to it, you received it. It exists. Now I think from what I understand, it's that keep focusing on it, keep focusing on it, keep
And
bringing
you
it down,
will
keep creating
eventually
it,
walk that way.
and it will become your material world.
And it ties
Exactly.
right into what we talked about last time, right? Which was the GPS. It's 11:11, by the way. Make a quick wish. Okay. It's a GPS, and and it's, you put in the destination, right? And it's
Yep.
just, you just got to go. You just got to assume you're going to get there, whichever path you take. And the other thing that we talked about was discipline, right? It is that discipline. It's
Yes.
that, it's so huge, and I'm seeing it more and more now that I'm trying to actually discipline myself, and I'm like, oh, it's so hard. It's
Yeah.
like, you've got to
know.
do the work. You've got to
I
take
know.
some self-responsibility, man. It's not
You
just, okay, I imagined it and it's just gonna happen. I'm just gonna sit here and eat some popcorn.
Wait
And
for
it's
it.
like,
No, you got to
no,
act.
you've got to
Yeah.
act. You've got to take
Yeah.
self-responsibility in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Everything. And
Yeah.
and that's the thing. I'm seeing a lot more going, I'm really just that awareness though, that actual like awareness of being the observer from the outside. And oh my God, P, like I'm seeing it, in my partner and people I love, and they're talking about things and stuff. And I feel it too. It's just like, I feel that FOMO, the fear, like they're talking about doing something. I'm like, oh, immediate FOMO. And I'm like, control, say something. What's your input? And it's like, okay, just why? Right? I've just been asking myself the question, why? Why do you want to do that? Why? And it's always, the answer is, it's literally just because that's the way I know, right? Like, and everybody's answer will be different. Like, why? Because I need control. Why? Because fear. And if you really think about it, for example, we're planning my friend's her baby shower, right? And there's things where I'm like, I want to do this, and I'm like, no, let the people around her handle it. And it's like, we all want the best thing, and all I can do is what I can do in every situation, and it's fucking magical. This is how magical setting intentions is.
Yeah.
This is how magical I'm seeing that setting intentions is in all my courses that I'm doing now with like the meetings that I'm facilitating and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm setting an intention every single time in every single meeting. So like for myself before I go in, and then as a group. And same thing with like Ash, with my, what's that her name? My friend, Ashley, my friend Ashley, her baby shower, right? And just setting an intention of, I want this to be like the most magical thing she's ever been in. However that happens, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't care how it happens. I don't have to do it, right?
No, exactly.
It's that like, oh, but I got to create this. No, I have to set the intention of what I want it to be from my end. And if my frequency is high enough, I don't think that anyone that's planning it is going, we don't want this to be good. So obviously already the frequency it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And however it happens. And I saw this, I'm seeing this when I have simple conversations with people of, I set the intention of being the observer. And I'm just like, people talk, and I'm like, wow, again, it's that same, I see you, I see the words, I hear you. And I see both your ego and your greatness, and I'm seeing it so much more now. And I'm just like, it is comical, because I'm like, you're so, with some people, it's not a judgmental way at all. It's just like, you're like, wow, I see your ego so clearly, and I don't want to fight it. I don't want, usually I'm like, my ego is like running out to like, what? We're having a fight. You know what I mean? It is. It really, like, my ego is like the first one to be like, no, defense, like the defense mechanism of just like, justify, explain. Now it's just like, is that how you feel? That's how you feel. I don't even think you want to hear my perspective. So I'm, that whole like think before speaking and blah, 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 blah. It's changed. It's not think before speaking. It's just be in the moment and observe. And even just, you'll know if your words are required. It's not think before speaking. It's being aware of when to say something.
Exactly.
Because you're going to know if like saying something even has any meaning at that point, or if it's just words coming out of your mouth. It's, and that intention setting, dude, it's just, it's becoming.
What I love is that it's actually really simple. Because I know I like to overcomplicate things, right? I'm like, oh, I've got to set my intention. I've got to do it like this, and I've got to do it, and I've got to be really strong, and it's got to be really. It's that no, actually, it's very simple to set an intention. You just focus, and you set an intention.
What do you want?
Then you carry on. Exactly. And
Ask yourself the question.
Assuming I've set the intention, therefore that's what I get. That's what I create. There's no. It's just that's my intention. And then you may hold it, and then if something does fall off because life happens, then you just bring it back, set my intention again, revisit my intention, and it's a very.
We don't have to use those words, right? It's literally answering the question: what do I want?
What do you
want?
What
do I want from this situation? Yeah. Because that's what all the deconstruction comes down to: is what did you want from this situation, and did you get what you wanted? No, because what did you really want?
Yeah.
Right. What you really wanted was the control, and was this and that, right?
Yeah.
Attention.
Exactly.
No, so it's like, what do I want?
Yeah.
I want, and it's not, it can't be something like monetary or physical. And that's what we have to understand. It can't be something, it can't be an objective material thing. It's just, when you say what do I want? So what does your soul want? What do you want? What do you want to feel at the end of it? Maybe that's the right question. What do you want to feel at the end of this? I want to feel happy. I want to feel joy. I want to feel restful. I want to feel energized. You'll get it.
I would like to do something.
What do you want? No,
What do you with all the stuff we were just talking about the crazy world? It's like, because what just came very clear for me is, like you're saying, the distinction as well between an egoic intention versus a soul-based true intention, because it's always important to set it from the highest good. And so my ego was, well, what do you want for the world then? Well, my ego was like, well, I want everyone to stop fighting and being idiots, and I want, and it's like, that's not a pure intention. But my soul would probably want something different. And I'm going to tune in and just see, what does my soul want? I'm getting a lot of echo. You get an echo?
No.
I'm hearing it. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'll carry on. So maybe if that helps for some reason, I don't know why. No, it doesn't. But yeah, like you set an intention. Your ego will never set a pure intention. And if anything, it just energizes and fuels the problem. So my ego intention for the world is just stop causing me so much pain, stop causing me all these problems by doing all this stupid stuff. But I'm going to see what my soul intention is. My soul intention is for life and the universe to flourish in exactly the way that it's meant to flourish, divinely guided to flourish. Like, it's not got anything to do with me at all. And my intention is, it's really hard with my echo. I'm just going to get this headset off my ear for a second. What else is obvious? My intention is, I do want to see more peace, but I want to see peace for people in their own hearts, not for me, not to make me feel better because I can't handle all the pain and the stress of it. I want to see peace for people's sake. I want people to my intention is for people to see how beautiful life can actually be, how powerful their hearts are, how when you actually choose love, true love, not ego love, you can just, life becomes magical, and people have no desire to hurt and all this sort of stuff. Like, that stuff just disappears. You don't even have to try to stop it. It just disappears all by itself. And so my intention for the world from my soul is, firstly, for life to just flourish as it's meant to be, because that's divinely guided. That's not my job, and I surrender that to something much more greater and powerful. And yeah, my intention for the world is for each person to know, to wake up to the truth in their own heart, their own soul, their own love, that is who they are, what they're connected to, how amazing and beautiful they are, how they're totally complete as they are. They don't need anything else. They're just wonderful miracles. Every human is a miracle, every one of us. Like, there's one in something like 4 trillion chance of each of us being born. And my intention for the world is for people to realize that, in their own hearts, and really come home to that, like, welcome home to who you truly are. That's my intention for the world. And interestingly, just as soon as I set that intention, the energy is totally different. Remember, ego is all about me, right? Ego intention is stop world doing dumb things because I don't like it, it makes me feel, it's all about me. Soul intention is not about you. It's a much higher, purer state. And it can be about you in the sense that you want to achieve something or create something, but the energy of it is different. It's not trying to fix your own pain or anything like that. It's just a very pure intention. And from that intention, I will get so many more actions and ideas that are in a whole nother dimension, compared to what my actions and ideas would be if I stayed in my ego intention, which is stop fighting, whatever it is. That's just I'm gonna be doing crappy actions if I'm trying to set that intention. But when I set my intention for my soul, and it's like to awaken people. My action is to do my work, which is to serve, to teach, to train, to continue being as much as I can in that space myself, to lead by an example, to provide higher energy, high frequency, and to help other people come into that. And so all my actions are going to be more aligned with that. And that is where you want to be versus